Hello and welcome back to Thoughts, Feelings, Emotions. We're having a nice chilled episode today because it's late at night and we're all really tired. I'm your host, Dan Weller, and I'm joined with you as always by our excellent co-host, Danny Frankham.
Yo, what's up? I'm the reason why we're doing a chilled episode. Because it is currently 11 p.m. at night, and people are sleeping above me, so we're going to be a bit quiet.
Yeah, nice and relaxed. Chill. Let's start the podcast off with what the F we went up to. It's a section where we go through what we have watched or played in the past week and let you know if we would recommend it. So, what have you been doing, Danny?
Well, you take a guess what was meant to arrive this Thursday that I have now got.
Yes, I saw the messenger photo that you sent.
Yes, and our debate of who spent the most money in the week.
I was like, I can't bother to get involved in this conversation.
So yeah, I now have a PlayStation 5, but I haven't been playing it much because I only had it for 2 days. We're currently recording on Friday, so I've only had it for a day. I've currently played Destiny 2, obviously, and it does load quickly. And I played a bit of Rocket League, and it does load quickly.
So you now got the same boot up speeds I do for Destiny.
Well, to be honest, I can get quicker ones on Chromecast, the Google Stadia.
That is true. That don't count. The Stadia. It's not real.
Yeah.
Not a real thing.
Although I have been playing Stadia, which goes into our other thing of I've been playing Super Hot on Google Stadia, which is you stop and then the enemies stop, and then when you move, the enemies move, and it's like a geometric red characters, and it's just like a. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have seen it. I was going to get for VR. For the PSVR,
it's a
I was
good
really
game.
tempted. But
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I like saving money. That's my problem.
True, it's free on Stadia if you pay for the subscription thing. But basically, is there Alexa going off in the background?
My Alexa's just doing something. I don't know what it's doing.
It's having a grand old time.
It's talking about the Queen.
Fun.
I don't know why.
But yeah, other than Super Hot, I played a bit of SteamWorld Dig on Stadia, which is like just a digging game, which I've 100% completed last time I played it on PS3 or PS4. I think PS4. But yeah, and then in terms of what I've been watching this week, Lego Star Wars Holiday Special I went and watched. It was alright. Bit dumb and goofy. Nothing super special to say. It was only 45 minutes, which surprised me.
So would you not recommend it then?
I would, if you like Lego's humor, which is just like a sarcastic piss take of what the real world events of what they actually do in the movies, and then kind of extrapolate it to make it more comical.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that, because the Lego Star Wars game is one of my favorite games of all time, for PS2 and stuff. I'm looking forward to that re-release of the complete saga.
I think the only sort of Lego game I played was Lego Indiana Jones back in the day.
I kind of wanted to get the Lego Marvel's Avengers game, because that looked fun, and it seems to be the only good Marvel's Avengers game.
Yes, the Avengers game didn't get off to a good start, did it?
No, did you see they lost like 46 million?
Oof.
Yeah, and that was like their first time losing money.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I've been kind of watching Kung Fu Panda 2, because I hadn't watched any of the sequels to Kung Fu Panda.
Neither have I, actually.
Nah, it's alright. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Kung Fu Panda franchise. I think they're good-ish movies. Like, they're a good, solid standard of, like, animated kids' films. Like, they're better than some of the others. And then I just decided to watch 2 SpongeBob movies. I watched the first one again, and then I watched the new one that came out this year. First one's still good. Second one is a bit hit and miss, really.
I mean, I can't imagine the second one being that good.
No, it's got a weird art style that I'm not that big a fan of.
It does look very weird. I mean, the first one actually looks SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's like the actual cartoon, like, character, like, shading. But this one's, like, 3D and everything. And it's got a weird feel to it.
Doesn't fit the vibe of SpongeBob.
Nah, it feels a bit too out there. But speaking of things that fit with the vibe, The Mandalorian Episode 4.
Yes, came out today.
Yep.
What do you think of it?
I thought it was alright. It's not my favorite of the episodes.
I mean, I'm sort of still get more and more confused because I'm very sort of new to the Star Wars lore, and everything's a bit jumbled in my brain.
To be honest, I thought that they were going to go in because I think recently they've come out and said that Emperor Palpatine was a clone of. So it's not Emperor Palpatine from the original trilogy; it's a clone of him, or a clone body. So that's where I thought they were going with the cloning of Baby Yoda to make like a clone that was Force sensitive,
Right, yeah.
so that it could. But it doesn't look like it's going that way because it looks like they're just doing a generic army.
I'm not
but
sure.
maybe-
I feel like I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, spoilers by the way.
Yeah, spoilers for the whole episode. Because they had those kind of test tube things at the end, and I thought that was something to do with smoke.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
I think it's in the Rise of Skywalker, they have those test tubes when they meet Palpatine again, which I think
Right,
are
yeah.
mini smokes.
yeah, like the smokestack things where they just let stuff rise up, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what you're talking? Yeah.
So I thought maybe is this like kind of how smoke was created by a Baby Yoda?
Mm.
Are they trying to tie
Oh.
in the Mandalorian
Yeah,
to the new
Because
films?
that was a very controversial thing to bring him back. So I mean, they're probably. I hope they're not trying to tie it in, but it might also be a good thing to make their most popular Star Wars thing currently sort of justify their terrible decision making in bringing him back.
Yeah, I think it's
They
they should have done it in the first place.
I think they should have stuck with the original director of those movies and had that original plan because it seems so much better from the leaked stuff that they've had come out and like some of the concept art and everything. Like there was a Chewbacca torture scene between him and Kylo Ren, and Chewbacca's like being force mind controlled or like by Kylo Ren, but then Chewbacca like forces memories from his past childhood into his head, and then it just kind of breaks him.
That does sound actually
And then
really cool, and that would have been a
Yeah.
lot more kind of
Satisfying.
Yeah,
Whereas the Rise of Skywalker seems to just do nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. Like, why is Rey on Tatooine at the end? She has no connection
I'm
to
not
it.
that mad at Rise of Skywalker. It does have a few cool scenes in it.
I don't like. It's just such a. When I went and watched it, I just felt bland when I came out of it, and then when everyone else kind of went and because I have this gauge of if a Star Wars movie is good is basically whether or not one person I know likes it or whether or not one person I know likes it, and if it's one of them, I know it's a bad film, and if it's the other one likes it, then I know it's a good film. So if it's my gauge of whether or not it's a good movie, and the one who if they don't like it, likes it. Like if the one who I think should likes it, then it's a bad movie, and then the one who that's so confusing.
Confusing me.
It's too late in the night. But yeah, basically, if one of them likes it, then it's a bad movie, and if one of them likes it, it's a good movie. But the one who likes it, which is a bad thing, liked it. So that's my gauge.
Though so because someone likes it, you're gonna hate it.
No, but it's mainly because they have terrible taste in movies, and they have terrible views on things. So they you kind of know where their viewpoint lies in terms of what they want from a movie, which is straight white male saves the day, does things heroically.
Brilliant. Sounds fantastic. I think my problem
Yeah.
with the Star Wars films, or the Star Wars saga, I should say, for the actual main trilogies of films, is that's all just one story. I mean, I get that's kind of the art of the Star Wars films, but I would still. It's why I prefer Marvel. It's all individual stories. You can actually, for the most part, you can pick out any one Marvel film and you can watch it.
Yeah,
Which you can't
that's
really do
hopefully-
with Star Wars.
Well, yeah, that's what hopefully they're doing with the new trilogies that they're planning. Because apparently the Skywalker saga is done. That's all they're doing. So I'm hoping that means that the Mandalorian isn't going to try and tie into it and everything. Because it just makes the universe so much smaller if everything just revolves around this one family fighting this one other family for the last 40 to 70 years or however long it is.
Yeah, I really hope the Mandalorian does go into the new films. It would be a lot better.
Yeah, I'm happy if it just stays as its own thing. I don't need it to. Like, I want that
Maybe
because
not
they're
go
doing.
into it, but maybe just more of a sort of reference it. Just
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, this happens, and then that one little thing gets referenced in the new films.
yeah. Well, the only thing I've kind of liked is the prequel, like, mentions and everything in it, because I like the little pit droid things that are there. I don't like that character who owns the pit droid people. I think that character's a bit annoying.
Yeah, I
That
do agree.
lady.
She is.
Yeah, I don't know why they brought her back, but I like the pit droids. The pit droids are good because I always just enjoyed the pit droids because they're, again, in the Star Wars game, they're fun to play as.
I think it's like every time I see them talk about the New Republic, it just makes me even more annoyed that in The Force Awakens they just destroyed the New Republic straight away.
Yeah, they built nothing towards it.
It
and then
really
they just-
annoys me. If they did it in the last film, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know, the first film was like, oh yeah, look at this New Republic. Second one is like, oh, something's happening. And the third one, it was destroyed. Like this.
Well, someone pointed out to me, what is the New Republic's like rule of the galaxy? Why is the what is the background of the First Order? It's the
Yeah, First Order, yeah.
And it's like,
Stupid name.
what are their motivations? Why are they doing this? Why is the Empire, the new Republic, worse for what they want to do? But you don't get any of that backstory. And as much as the prequels are heinous at doing it, they do give you a backstory as to how Chancellor Palpatine got into power because of trade routes and everything. And I don't want that necessarily, but I do want them to give backstory, like subtle hints to us why it's a.
I think there's sort of like a
action.
fine line of how much you need. If you go kind of too less, and it's not enough backstory. If you go too much, it's too much just exposition, and you have to kind of. It's really hard to stick on that line.
Yeah, The Mandalorian's doing a good job so far balancing nostalgia versus actual character development and plot development. The Rise of Skywalker tilts so much into nostalgia that it pisses me off. And I call that movie a nostalgia porn movie because it's just only focused on nostalgia rather than actual character and plot motivation. And it suffers because of it. Because basically they throw out all of the character development from the last film to try and just shove nostalgia in your face to please a certain group of Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I
And
suppose
it blew up in their face and backfired.
I don't really have that when I watch Star Wars. I have no nostalgia because, like I said, I've only watched it this year.
Yeah, so this movie just seems perfectly flat to you. But then for anyone who
I wouldn't
is
say it's
super
flat.
No, but I mean in terms of your actual like enjoyment of Star Wars, all of the movies are pretty much the same to you, right?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, some are like a bit more like, yeah, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's all one story.
Yeah. So for me, it goes up and down a bunch because I like the prequels. I think the prequels and the original trilogy are basically flat movies because I watched them as a kid all in the row and they're all basically the same to me. And then these new ones, Force Awakens is dropped down by a bit because it's basically the same movie. And then Last Jedi changed things, so it goes higher up. Rogue One goes higher up because it tried to change things. Han Solo goes down because it tried to nostalgia bait me. And then Rise of Skywalker goes down because it tried to nostalgia bait me. And I'm not someone who likes nostalgia. Like, nostalgia is such a fucking annoying thing for me, and like, if it's done well, it's good. Like, the Lego movie is nostalgic because it's all those little characters and everything that you played with as a kid. And it does a very good job of balancing the tone and the like stuff between it. But then you have like a movie that is so like it uses the character like the nostalgia to character push the people into the right directions. But then with the Rise of Skywalker, it just kind of and the Force Awakens kind of shoves that nostalgia and doesn't change anything. Basically, it just shows it to you because you go. It's like the member berries from South Park. Member there.
I don't know. I've never really seen South Park.
Basically, they're a little grape thing that just says, "Do you remember pop culture reference?" And then everyone goes, "Yes," and it's basically it gives you that dopamine shot basically in your brain, and then
Right,
everyone
okay.
gets addicted to them because it's just, "Do you remember that? Do you remember that?" And it's just giving you that pleasure center of, "Oh, do you remember that?" It's like, "Oh, do you remember that speeder? It's in the Mandalorian," but it's like, "Oh, do you remember Han Solo? He's here for no reason because it's such a small universe." But you know,
I think a good way of doing it is sort of more Easter egg based rather than actual
Yeah.
story driven based. Like look at Endgame, whereas like one of my most favorite scene in Endgame is when the portal scene and then Falcon just goes on your left.
Yeah,
And I think
that's a bit nostalgia, because I mean it's harder to do nostalgia when it's been only 10 years, whereas Star Wars has been for 40 years.
I think there's a sense of nostalgia to it.
Yeah, but it's so new that it's not as nostalgic. Like nostalgia is from so.
Well, my point is
very
that
far.
that line hasn't driven the story, right?
That's fan service more than nostalgia, because it's that sort of fan hit.
But at the same time, that's all nostalgia is. It's just fan over time.
Yeah.
But let's say, or somehow, that's a small event or something driven the whole story of the film, it wouldn't be good. It's
like the Stan Lee cameos. They're fan service because it's been a staple. Sad that he's not going to be in them anymore. But that sort of it's familiar, so you look for it, sort of thing. And then if you're dedicated enough, you'll look for it, and then you get that shot of I'm a dedicated fan. It's a little predatory in terms of like trying to get you to continue sticking with something. But if done right, it's good. But if it's done bad, it does fucking piss me off. Like the Justice League movies and the Batman v Superman movie is basically, do you remember this comic book panel? Then it's just translated shot for shot, but the character development behind the comic book panel isn't there. So it means nothing. It's just that one shot. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
I
get what you mean.
It's like it's empty behind the nostalgic picture. So for Star Wars, it was empty because it was just, Rey is holding Luke's lightsaber. It doesn't matter because this character has had no attachment to it. You only care because it's Luke's lightsaber. But the reason why she has it is completely irrelevant. She finds it in a box, and they go, "Oh, we won't tell you how we get this lightsaber. It's just here because you remember Luke's lightsaber." It's that empty hollowness behind why you like it, only because you like it. But there's no reason for it to be there. If it has a reason to be there, then it makes more sense.
Yeah. I think we've hated on the Rise of Skywalker enough now. I think we should move on to the interchangeable topic of the week, which is, why does this exist? So for this week, we're going to question, why does this exist, which is Twitter's new feature of fleets.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know what fleets are basically temporary tweets that will be deleted after 24 hours.
Yeah. Basically Snapchat stories or TikToks or whatever.
Well, TikToks don't delete. It's permanently. So it's more Snapchat.
Yeah, or Instagram stories or whatever they are, those things. Where
I don't know. I don't use much social media.
It's those stupid little bubbles that... It's like YouTube has them as well.
Yeah,
it's
YouTube
those
stories.
Stupid little bubbles that sit at the top of your screen, and then they're just there for people to click on, and then they disappear after you've watched them. And it's like, why does Twitter need this? Is Donald Trump going to start using these so that he can say racist shit without it staying there permanently?
Yeah, to be fair, I might be trying to get rid of sort of all those events that happen kind of later on. Like James Gunn got sacked because of tweets.
But that was manufactured just to get him fired. It's such a weird thing that Disney actually caved to it and then immediately backtracked because they went, "Oh fuck, we've been tricked." But then they couldn't kind of admit it, so they just kind of let it sit and then just sort of brought him back. But it was already too late because he'd gone on to do DC.
Sad times. Anyway, back onto fleets.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems really dumb because you could just, delete your tweet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the point of... Also, it doesn't really work for Twitter because it's video, isn't it?
I thought fleets was just a message I just deleted 24 hours.
No, I think it's video.
That's even weirder.
Yeah, I think it's the same sort of thing as Instagram, where it's that video format.
Why have they done that?
I don't know.
It's not going to work. It's not going to kick off. Surely not.
Yeah. No, it will be popular because it's on Twitter, but it won't do anything because it will just fill up people's timeline and people will get pissed off with it and they'll delete it in like a year and a half when they realize no one's using it because everyone's already got an app that can do it.
Exactly. Why would you use Twitter as well?
Yeah. I don't understand why apps steal other people. Like, it's Facebook all over, because Facebook stole Snapchat stories, Instagram stories from Snapchat. And it's like, why?
Money!
Yeah. But I find it so weird with Instagram, because everyone hates Facebook, but Instagram is owned by Facebook, and everyone loves Instagram.
And it's why I don't use either.
Mm. But it's just this weird thing that all these people are like, I hate Facebook. And then it's like, but I use Instagram. And it's like, but they're the same fucking company. I don't want to share all my personal stuff on Facebook. I'll share it all on Instagram, though. Do people not realize that it's the same
I think it's now
company?
just kind of age brackets of social media. So, like, your Facebook is your middle-aged to older generation, and then your Instagram is more your younger generation now. And your celebrity social media, celebrity stars.
Yeah, I guess.
Just sort of,
and Twitter is for your angry racist grandparent.
exactly.
Or uncle.
Or Trump.
Yeah.
There you go.
Although the only one I use is Twitter, just because I like comedians and they make some good stuff. But I can't be asked to look at people's photos on any other thing.
Anyway, that's it for Why This Exists for this week. And we're going to move on to headliners. So the biggest headlines we could find this week that are not political. And will not make us angry.
Might be.
Well, should make us angry. The first one is Twitch is donating $1 million to able gamers.
Yeah, which is nice, because
nice, kind thing
also they're doing a the Game Awards.
Yeah,
they've now set up a Game Awards to celebrate developers who make like accessibility for disabled gamers.
Oh, that's good. That's a nice thing.
Yeah,
everyone should game.
Yeah, so there's a streaming award celebration that celebrates if the game does accessibility. So like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, The Last of Us 2, a bunch of other games have all been nominated for awards to like celebrate the accessibility of gamers, which is nice.
I mean, everyone should be able to rage at Call of Duty.
Yeah. One thing I'll give Xbox credit for is they did make that sick-ass controller that is like a block, and it can plug into so many different things, and it's like designed to be used by as many people as possible.
Yeah, it has like 22 ports, I think, on it.
Yeah, and someone even wired it into a wheelchair, and you could use the little joystick on your wheelchair to make it so that you could move in the game, and it was super sick because the person couldn't use any other things except for their wheelchair controller, so they just made it so that it plugged into that.
I've now got a vision of a man in a wheelchair trying to control a game and then just moving the wheelchair while trying to move in the game.
It would make VR a lot more fun if you could do it like that.
Next gen VR is in a wheelchair.
Mm. Oh yeah, have you seen the rumors that PlayStation has said that there is the potential that they're either going to make the PlayStation VR better on PS5 or they're making a new PS5 VR.
I feel like they should just make a new VR.
I think they are, but they've kind of said that we're still committed to VR, so whether or not that's a new headset or they're committed to making the PlayStation 5 more compatible with the current PlayStation VR.
I think it makes sense to stick with VR. It does seem. I know it hasn't really kicked off yet.
It's PlayStation, I think, is the best selling.
I think mainly because of affordability. I mean, I know now Oculus is now cheaper.
Yeah.
But previously you had to have maybe like a $300-$400 headset unit on top of another $800 gaming PC. It was very expensive, and then at the time, PlayStation was very affordable. I mean, new PlayStation?
And also, it's also a much wide, because you don't need a £8,000 PC or whatever it is.
No, exactly.
And you just have a box, and it does work well. I really enjoyed my VR stuff when I ever get a chance to play it. And it's just a pain to set up. I think they need to make wireless quicker, or like streamable.
Yeah, I still think. I think the big thing, I hope they start using 8K technology in the headsets. Because when they put 8K screens in the headsets, I know it'll be a bit expensive at the minute, but when they get affordable, it will just greatly improve the quality. And I think that's the biggest downside of VR at the minute, is just the quality of the visuals.
Yeah, I still think if Google ever stepped up its gaming prowess. They own a VR company, they own a streaming company, and they own a hardware company. If they just crushed all of those together, they would dominate in the VR headspace because one, they could just stream high-powered games to a headset using Stadia. They also own a mobile phone manufacturer, so even if they still wanted to do mobile phones in a screen, they could just do that. And they own hardware so that they can do the controllers and everything. And they own so many camera sensor operated things that they could do the tracking no problem.
We never know.
And they have voice assistant.
You never know. That might be their plan.
Well, no, because they killed Daydream, which was their hardware division for their phones.
Okay, that's dead then. Never mind.
Well, yeah, it's just Google seems to have this problem where they commit to something and they just cut it, and it's just like, ugh. Which is why everyone was worried about Stadia, because it's like, oh, if they don't get enough traction, they'll just cut it. But I think Google's kind of realized that gaming is such a big market that they can try and take a percentage. But even then, it's like they haven't done the gaming space. It's like Amazon as well. Amazon's struggling because they own Twitch, but they're trying to make games as well. But they've lost games. They've cancelled games as well because they recently cancelled a game that they had in beta for ages or released and then went back into beta because it was broken, and it was like an MMO shooter battle royale. It was a mess because it was just so many different genres shoved into one. And then I was talking to someone recently about this, and it was Google and Amazon are two completely different things from gaming. That they have all this access and money, but they haven't got the background in gaming. So what they'll probably do is just buy gaming studios, like Microsoft's doing.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Rather than trying to, because they're trying to build their games from the ground up, but they don't realize how expensive and difficult it is to build a game.
It would be a lot easier to just buy like a Bethesda or an Insomniac, and they just get them to make some sort of exclusivity, get like a really good game. That's what you need to get your platform off. I mean, it's how Nintendo sells well. If Nintendo didn't have the Mario or the Pokemon games or etc., whatever you buy,
or PlayStation didn't have their exclusives.
Yeah, it wouldn't sell as well.
But I just wanted to say that because I was just like, that's just an interesting thing for me.
Talking about PlayStation exclusives, HBO has now given a series order for The Last of Us TV show.
Yeah, it was mentioned a while back that there was going to be a TV show of The Last of Us, and I have been very, very skeptical on this because the rumor is that they're going to translate the game to the TV.
That's not going to work.
No. But I kind of hoped that what The Last of Us TV show would be is they take completely different characters, but it's still set in that same world. So it's like a side story.
Yeah, they should have done that. That would be much better.
That's what I'm hoping it is, because they still haven't confirmed that it is a just straight up game 2 screen. And I don't know. I hope it's something different. I trust it because the game director who wrote The Last of Us and wrote The Last of Us Part 2 and all of the studio at Naughty Dog is kind of behind this as well. And it's also directed by, I think, the guy who did Chernobyl and all of those other shows. I don't know if you ever watched Chernobyl.
I have heard of it, but I've not watched it.
Yeah, apparently it's a very good TV show. But I haven't watched it because we don't get HBO over here, and I think it's Sky who gets the rights to any HBO stuff.
Yeah, well, it's a bit different because it used to be Sky Atlantic showed the HBO stuff that was actually shown on the actual TV show, not on HBO Max. Whereas HBO Max, I think, usually comes to Netflix or another streaming service somewhere along the line.
Yeah, they're so spread out, and it's always weird. Which leads us on to our next thing. Justice League, because of HBO, and HBO Max is getting a new Justice League. A new Justice League trailer came out this week, and a new picture of what Steppenwolf looks like. And my god, it still looks absolute garbage. I cannot stand anything coming out of this Justice League news.
I mean, I saw the new trailer, and I didn't know it was the new trailer. It looked almost identical.
Yeah, I don't get the choice of song. I don't get the Hallelujah slowed down, sung with a different person, and it's just so cringy, and I hate it.
I think it's just,
And also,
it's a good song. I just put it on there. Yeah, there you go.
also,
And someone
what
does
do you
it.
think of Darkseid? Because Darkseid looks absolute garbage. Like the guy at the beginning, it just looks. It just.
I mean,
looks
I don't
tacky.
hate on DC just for the sake of it.
I don't want to hate on them, but they do so many dumb things. Like they let Zack Snyder in charge, and I just can't stand
If they were actually committing to this properly, then they should just make it maybe 2 series or something, a 2 TV series TV show.
It's a 4-episode movie.
But I don't feel like that's a good way of doing it.
No, and also everyone who going, oh, just Zack Snyder's getting his original vision. No, it's not, because his original vision was like a 2-hour, 30-minute movie, and it's not what it is, because he's had the potential ability of 2020 hindsight going, oh, people didn't like this, people didn't like that. I wanted to change some things. I get more control. I get to make it longer. I get to add stuff. So it's not what his original vision is. So everyone who's saying, oh, Zack Snyder gets to do his original vision is full of crap.
Yeah, sort of
It
cheating
pisses
away,
me.
really.
Yeah. He gets a redo of something that's going to be 4 hours long, split across 4 episodes, I think, is what the plan is. And he's giving it to people on a streaming service that's free, and it's too big to fail at this point. So even if it is bad, people are going to still say it's good. So,
I suppose there you go, innit, really? Just DC fanboys and stuff. And
also, what is DC's obsession with? They have a villain, but in the trailer, it's not as spiky. But then they show another trailer, and it is super spiky. Because they did it with Darkseid. Because they... what's the bad guy from Batman v Superman at the end?
Doomsday.
Doomsday. Yeah, they did it with Doomsday. In the first trailer, they show him, and he's smooth and not rocky. And then they have to backtrack and go, oh, he grows spikes, so they make him spiky. And then in this one, in the original Justice League trailer, they show Steppenwolf and he's not spiky. And then they've gone, oh no, he's spiky now. He's got all these knives and shit.
I think it just proves the point that DC aren't very good at making movies. And they need
they
they need someone like Kevin Feige.
no, because they made the Dark Knight trilogy.
Okay,
And
I mean,
you can't say DC is bad at making movies, because they do make good movies. They just have Zack Snyder at the helm, and Zack Snyder is a visual. It's the same Star Wars problem. It's visuals and nostalgia over story and plot, and it's like characters. Because Zack Snyder doesn't care about Superman, and he doesn't care about Batman. He just thinks they're cool and just wants to smash them together. But he doesn't care about building an actual coherent plot that makes sense and makes the character motivations work. Because how does Batman and Superman, the most iconic battle of all time, happen? Because Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor goes, I've kidnapped your mum, go fight Batman. Like, come on.
It's not very inventive, really.
No, in the other one, it's a political thing. It's like, oh, the government wants to stop Batman, so they send in Superman, and Batman's a jaded old asshole who just knows that he's going to get tried to be stopped, and he's just taken down an army of like mutants and everything, and he's just killed the Joker, I think, in that. So it's like, what's he got to lose? And it's just like, and then he gets Green Arrow to help shoot Kryptonite. It's just a better story.
Well, what they know, it's just never going to
Yeah.
happen, really, because DC like to do their own thing. Anyway, talk about
Yeah.
streaming services. Mandalorian Season 3 has been confirmed.
Yeah, and apparently they might even be doing a Boba Fett TV series before Season 3.
Is that before or
Which-
after the Obi-Wan series?
I don't know what's going on with the Obi-Wan. I know that one of the directors who did one of the episodes in The Mandalorian Season 1 is directing. I think Deborah Cho is directing the Obi-Wan TV series. But I think that's going to be a 4-part episodic story.
Only 4 part.
I think so. I don't think they're going to do like a full...
I have heard there's only 1 season. Or it's only going to be one
Yeah,
thing.
it's definitely going to only be 1. I don't know if it's going to be 4 or 8 episodes, but it's going to be quite short. But yeah, I think they've they've had the rumor that they're going to do a Boba Fett show before they do Mandalorian season 3, but I don't know how true that is. We'll have to see what the ending point of Mandalorian season 2 is.
Yeah, wait and see.
Whether or not that end shot of the first episode actually does anything.
So the end shot,
'Cause-
was it actually Boba Fett, or was it?
It's not confirmed, but people are speculating. It's either him or a clone. Because there are clones that are still out there that are, like, iconic. And it's either him or it's the Boba Fett. But because it's the Mandalorian, everyone expects it to be Boba Fett.
It probably is.
But the reason why people are also speculating that it's a clone is because Ahsoka Tano's in it. And a guy called Captain Rex from the Clone Wars is like a rogue clone that went off and helped Ahsoka Tano and everything, and so people are speculating that it might be him. But then again, I don't know. I never watched Clone Wars, so fake Star Wars fan here.
Yeah, no, well, I can't say I'm a Star Wars fan, really. I've only seen each film once.
Yeah. But speaking of fans, Ryan Reynolds, everyone's favorite person in the world, is doing something, Dan.
Well, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McAthanley. I've probably butchered that name completely. Yeah, that guy. Both of them have been the owners-elect of the Wrexham Football Club in Wales. So this is a football club that's in the Conference League, so they're not a big team, but it's just sort of weird how, how blue. Oh, yeah, Ryan Reynolds now owns a football club.
Yeah, I mean, he owns a lot of companies. He owns a 5G capable phone company. He owns a gin company. Him and Hugh Jackman are like best friends, and they have Hugh Jackman has a coffee company, and
That man he keeps buying companies. I don't know what's his obsession.
He'll buy Disney at some stage.
Sure.
Nah,
Oh, now I'll get my film.
mm.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's about it.
About it, really.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know much about football, so I was like, "What the fuck is this, Dan? Why are we talking about this? Is it just because Ryan Reynolds in the title?" Yes,
yes,
it
yes,
is.
it is. Yes, yes. I mean, all the fans are not happy about it. Everyone was kind of going around wearing Deadpool masks. There was a guy in a mobility scooter in a Deadpool costume. Just going, "Yay, Ryan Reynolds!" And then like all praising him for buying the club.
I mean, it's a good thing.
Good for the town. I suppose it
Yeah,
will
it
bring
pumps
money,
into it. Yeah, it pumps money into it. So
because occasionally
it's
Ryan
good.
Reynolds will go and see a game. I think he actually quite likes football.
Also, I think one of the things that's good about it is because even if you don't like football, but if it's like a kids' football ground thing,
No, it's
or
actually
is
a
it
football
like,
club.
well, even then, it gives people something to talk about, even if it isn't football, because it's like, I like Ryan Reynolds. If we can talk about Ryan Reynolds and stuff like that. So even if you're not a big football fan, it still gives you something to keep, and then you could go socialize and you can do more things. So it's better in terms of that. Because even if you're not the biggest football fan like myself, I don't even care. But I'd be like, this is the club Ryan Reynolds owns, so that's cool.
Yeah,
And then
I
you
think
can-
the idea behind sort of having a big star like Ryan Reynolds come in is try to get some money in so the club can actually get sort of a professional league
Yeah.
because it's not out of that
That's-
position. But yeah, it's just thought it was maybe kind of a kind thing to do, really, by a football club that's
Yeah,
in trouble. And
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. Is there anything else? I think we've got the new Oppo phone.
yes, this is another rollable phone. So last week we discussed the LG rollable phone, which looked like we had two different rollables, one on the left, one on the right, and the Oppo one looks like it has a single rollable.
And also has a hydraulic in it to actually open and close it for you, rather than you pulling on it. I don't know if the LG one did have a button on it to make it do it, but it didn't seem like it. I thought it was just a pull.
Yeah, the LG one was just came off a patent, so it wasn't obvious.
Actually,
Whereas the Oppo one was actually video they released for concept phone. I don't know if it's confirmed they're making it, or was it just a concept?
no, it's an actual phone.
It is
I'm
actual
pretty
phone.
sure. It looks like it because they released a video. So
Well, it could just be a concept because OnePlus released a concept phone where the back glass of the camera darkened, so when you weren't using the camera, it would just look black.
right,
but that
Okay.
phone wasn't officially on sale. It was just a concept.
Mm. Okay.
So I'm not sure if the phone's actually going on sale or if it's just a concept. Either way, that technology is likely going to be used somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think it works better than foldables.
I I think it's a more interesting. I think I think the implementation of this one seems more interesting because it actually has a hydraulic or like a motor to actually push the screen out. So you're not physically doing anything, and it seems quite quick from the video that they tested or showed.
Yeah, I think that it does look more cool, but I think there's also sort of a practicality side of things. Whereas an actual foldable, there's always problem with the crease on the phone, as you're always going to have that on a foldable. You can't get rid of it. No amount of engineering will get rid of that on a foldable phone.
I'm sure they'll find at some stage.
The only way to do it is just actually get a different display, but they can't do that. That technology doesn't exist.
Mm.
Whereas an actual rollable, you won't get that crease because it's rolled up. It's not tight. It's not like a really tight angle. So you won't get a crease. And sort of the other problem with foldables is the actual screen case. I know LG would have a problem with the screen case, but the Oppo one that only comes out from one side, you could quite easily attach a case to that.
Yeah, and it would just have like a fabric bit.
Yeah, and it would actually protect the display, so you would probably have one of those to go with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's interesting, and
I think phones are having to get more daring because currently the only thing that's changing on phones is cameras, and I hate that because the only reason they do that is just to make the back look different because everything looks the same on the front.
I completely agree.
Except if you, like, every phone has that teardrop display camera. Unless you're an iPhone user.
Well, now everything is hole punch.
Yeah, that's the teardrop or the teardrop hole punch display. Yeah, I meant the hole punch. And then every camera design on the back because the only thing that if you're holding it up to your head and you're doing a phone call, then the only thing that people are going to notice is the actual camera display. But
I can't remember who it was. A phone company came out with a camera phone that the actual camera actually came out of the phone.
Oh, what, the little pop-up ones?
No. The actual back of the back camera came out like an actual proper camera. Did you know the digital cameras you used to get?
Yeah,
Where
Samsung's done that.
Yeah, where the camera popped out from the back of it.
Samsung's done some weird things with cameras. They had a phone where the camera was like on a hinge and then flipped up.
Yeah, that was the A80, I want to say.
I don't remember. And then I like the only ones I like really. Like, I don't hate the hole punch design, but it does fuck me off. It does piss me off with the like when you're having black bars and then it has to make it so that it lines up. I like the ones where the camera is a pop-up. Those are my favorite ones where the camera pops up. And
I do agree. I like those ones.
But the only thing is, I can't remember which one it is, but one of them they put like a massive amount of weight on the hinge to show that it wouldn't bend or break over time.
I think that was the OnePlus one.
Yeah, probably. But that was interesting to me. But then I was like, that's very like it's not moving or anything. It's just the weight. It's not like moving. It's just a steel piece of weight that's just on it. So, and it's just kind of like, if you had that moving, would it eventually snap it because of the friction and the motion?
Yeah, I think the problem is just, I don't see that's going to be a problem as much as just the motor going to wear out eventually. One day the motor will die, and then you've got a dead camera.
Well, that was the problem with the hinge, because it was like everyone was, how many hinge rotations can you do before it like wears and tears the actual thing on a foldable? And then Samsung was like, oh, we've tested it, and it's like robots doing it precisely and cleanly and not having any like interruptions or physical like debris or anything in the way. And then it's just like Americans get their hand on it and just whip it open and snaps the hinge, and it's just like, yeah, no.
Phone companies are very careful on the testing they do.
Yeah, and I mean Samsung extremely careful because of things that have happened in their past, and Apple still seems to be doing extremely careful testing. Even though I think I don't know what it was, but I think I saw a bend test for the iPhone 12. because apparently that might be bending again, like one of the old phones.
Well, I haven't seen about the Max one, but the normal ones. So like not the mini, not the normal ones don't bend at all. There's no flex in them.
Yeah, I was just seeing that someone was. I don't know if it was clickbait or whatnot.
I think
so
it's clickbait. I don't think it does, because the phone is very solid. The reason why the other ones bent, it was because of it was all aluminium backs, and aluminium is a very weak material to bend.
I did know someone who had one of those phones and it bent in their back pocket, and I was just like, yeah, and you call my phone shit? And I was like, Samsung, and it's like, but your phone bent, mate.
Like my phone's not a croissant.
Yeah, my phone doesn't just snap in half when you apply the slightest bit of pressure. But yeah, let's go on to PS5's not coming out on launch day.
That was a problem in Italy, or was it?
No, it's in the UK as well.
Or was it?
Yeah, Game came out and said that basically some of the pre-orders of people trying to get them on launch day, they switched couriers. So they went from the Royal Mail to a company called Yodel or something like that.
Good old Yodel.
And Yodel is apparently a terrible courier. And so basically people were getting emails saying, oh, your order isn't going to come until sometime in December or potentially next year.
Oh, that's actually really long.
Yeah. So
yeah, Yodel is awful. I remember I saw a watchdog of them once, and they had parcels and they just basically kicked them, and they just kind of someone wasn't in, so they just threw it over the fence.
Yeah, why do you think those Ring doorbells have come into place? Because like people are just getting packages like in America. It's predominantly America because it's just like post boxes and then just massive driveways, and then it's just these people just throwing and just because they have to do quotas. They can't just stop and put the parcel because they're trying to deliver so much shit.
Yeah, I think
so they're
we're
just
quite lucky in the UK, really. Every single Amazon driver has to go to the end of it. And if you're not in, then you have to take a photo by your door saying, I left it there.
See, I don't get the photo, even though
I sometimes do.
They sometimes do it, but half the time
I think it depends
they don't.
who you have. Some people just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we're quite good here. Like I've had, although for whatever reason, some hide them and some don't hide them. Some just leave my parcels on the front doorstep, and some try and hide them behind some stuff. But I had my fucking £12,000 phone was just left on the doorstep.
£12,000 phone? You sure about that?
Oh, £1,200 phone. Like the stupid foldable phone that I have because I got it free with my TV was just left on my doorstep in a box, not hidden, just left there. Anyone can come and walk down and just go, oh, I'll take that. And then it's like not.
What you fail to understand is the British would never do that.
No, true. We live in a quite nice country. And also I live down a private road. So
it's like, no. I've got two of those in my backyard.
Yeah. I do live in front of a school, though, so.
Oh, I never know. I can make an odd roadman come up and then just take it.
But yeah. So, yeah, PlayStation 5s. I got lucky because I was with Amazon, so I didn't go through game. So mine came and got dropped off at my house.
Yeah.
My mum
I mean, I think mine's going to take, at least 2 years to arrive.
Yeah, because you haven't even ordered it yet.
Yeah, I know. If I ever buy one. I will buy one eventually.
You might just go for the slim version when it eventually comes out.
Yeah, I'll wait and see. It depends on what games come out. Because if Destiny 2 becomes actually crossplay, then that's kind of the last game that I actually get to stay on PlayStation for. And after that, I'd be like, oh, well, what's the point?
I'm getting pissed off with Destiny 2. I can't. It's still good, the story, but I'm just struggling with the actual changes that they've made. It's not as enjoyable. I don't know why. Like, it's very pretty, but I think they fucked the enemy leveling, because it's just so difficult. I died 19 times on the same mission, even though I was above the light level.
Well,
because
are you sure you're not bad?
No, because I'm good. I normally don't struggle. Like, I don't die much. But they've nerfed all my shit. They've made all the enemies overpowered, and they make them all freeze me or just swarm me. Because basically, their in-story reason for it is, I think this is why the enemies seem to be so much smarter than they are on the other ones, is because the new darkness like embodiment is a person who like has military leadership, so they're basically organizing the fallen so that they're more organized, so they actually have strategy behind how they attack you, so they just swarm you or freeze you, and then
I think the reason behind all of that is just people were complaining about the game being too easy.
yeah, but I don't want it to be that difficult.
But now
I
it's
don't
a
want to die
challenge.
Yeah, but I get it, but I don't want to die 19 times in a row just trying to do one thing because I don't have a powerful enough weapon.
I think the problem
Like-
for me at the moment is they haven't released something new for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
It's all basically been the
The
same.
same enemy
Just
type, just slightly changed.
yeah, just like different reskins, or even if you're changing the guns and changing the systems, it's still the same game. It's still
When
the
are
same.
when are they releasing the changes to the supers? Because they still haven't changed how
Oh,
the supers
okay, yeah.
look.
So, very quickly, the old supers are exactly the same. They're not changing them. It's only the new status one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's only the new status one that's highly customizable. The old one's exactly the same.
That's stupid. They need to change that because there's still no way to combat the new super, and it's just dumb.
Yeah, they
'Cause
need
the new
to
super is so overpowered.
they need to change the old supers really, and put them into the same sort of scalable
System
system.
as the first one. Like the first one was great. I love the first one's design.
But the last time
like-
they added a new feature was probably Gambit 2 years ago. And like it or hate
Yeah.
it was new.
I liked Gambit, but no one ever wanted to play Gambit, so I was just got put with other people, and other people just pissed me off because they don't do things like I want them to.
Yeah, what's been having teammates? It's all useless.
Like I was playing it, and all these people just killed. I killed everything, and people just ran in front, got my like orbs, and then just died. And I was like, great. So all my hard work to kill
Thanks
stuff,
for
they
that.
just steal it all and then die. So it's like, and then I die when I get because I just get left on my own and just get swarmed. So even if I do have them, I just die anyway. So it's just like, cool. I don't like playing with idiots, and none of my friends want to play. So I'm just like, great.
Yeah.
Why would I play a 4-person game mode if no one wants to play?
But I want them to add something new. Even if they add Prison of Elders back in, to me that's still new in the sense of Destiny 2.
I was so disappointed when they added a Prison of Elders prison break section and they didn't allow you to go back and play Prison of Elders when they fixed it up. Like, come on. You put it in the game and then you tease me and you don't put it back.
I think one thing that would actually just get me back into the game properly is if they just add something new. Just add a new game mode or something.
Yeah.
And if you actually do that and have put thought into it, instead of just keep doing the same stuff, it will be so much better.
Dan, I've thought of the perfect transition. Speaking of new things, new Bethesda games will be coming to Xbox first. Supposedly. From a recent discussion with head of Xbox or Microsoft, Phil Spencer, he mentioned that they want Bethesda games to come out on Xbox first, or the better version to be on Xbox.
I think that makes sense. If you own the company, you might as well.
Yeah, you pay $7 billion, you should get a better game.
I don't see why that's. I mean, it's not a good thing for the community, but it's a good thing for Xbox. And if you're gonna have it, you might as well just get the exclusives first. Sony do it all the time. They've even done it on the new COD.
Yeah.
The new Zombies Onslaught mode is on PS5 for a year before it comes to PC or Xbox.
Yeah.
Godfall is
I mean-
on Bugsnax, I think.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's an interesting thing. I mean, I'm not super fussed because I don't tend to play Bethesda games. But I know people who do play them, so they'll be a bit pissed because they're all PlayStation fans. So, doesn't affect me, but it's still not great.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's of course only rumour at the minute, but I think it's likely to happen. I don't blame them for
Yeah.
doing it. I'm just hoping
I know the dude who's behind the Elder Scrolls, Todd Howard or whatever his name is, said that they want Skyrim or the new Elder Scrolls to come out on all platforms. So whether or not it's a timed exclusive is one thing. I mean,
yeah, it will be a timed exclusive. It won't be a dedicated exclusive. It'd be too much money lost. The Bethesda games
Yeah.
are way too big for it to be a just a exclusive to Xbox,
Yeah.
they would lose because considering Xbox own it, they would lose more money.
Well, I think recently Microsoft said that they could make their money back by making it exclusive, but they don't intend to do that.
Wow,
So-
that's a bit of a
Yeah, I was like 7.5 billion or 6 billion or whatever it is from one studio. I get it, but you like that would only work if Fallout 76 or whatever it was an actual successful game and they had the microtransaction level of like a GTA 5.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, what you remember is each copy they sell to PlayStation, they still make money from that.
Yeah.
So, just if you're limiting your sales to the actual consoles itself, you're going to be losing.
And
a
also,
lot
they're
of money.
not going to sell as many consoles as they would on PlayStation.
Yeah, and also all
'cause-
the games come on PC anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No one buys an Xbox because you can buy a PC or buy it on PC, whereas you buy a PlayStation for the exclusives. And if you can buy a Game Pass subscription and you can play it on your phone as well, why would you buy a console? But PlayStation will still outsell them, but it's just whether or not people are playing the games on a Xbox is the question.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next topic of Are You a Sexpert? So Danny's going to give me a topic. I need to guess what it is, and if I guess right, I get some sort of points, and if I guess wrong, my points go down.
So currently you're 1 for 1. You've got 1 right and 1 wrong.
Okay.
So you need to guess just from what the name of it is, what the move is, and I'll give you like, if you get close to it, I'll give you the point. So an alligator fuck house.
Well, the move is, you said.
Yeah. So if you get close to what this is, roughly how it's described in this piece of text. So it's I go on Urban Dictionary and I find a sex move, and Dan has to guess just from the name what it is.
So it's like a position kind of move thing.
It's like sort of. It's just roughly what the move entails and stuff like that.
So what did you say it was again?
Alligator fuck house.
I like it.
Think what alligators do.
I'm
Dan.
assuming because something to do with biting,
Close.
somewhere along the line, or at least something to do with the mouths.
Mhm.
I'm assuming it's like an orgy in a house full of people biting or sucking on things.
Okay, you got the biting. So basically, a daring sexual maneuver mid-coitus, one person bites the neck of the other, locks their arms and legs down, and goes into a death roll, all while maintaining insertion like a downshifting a car. Sally, last night Johnny surprised me with an alligator fuckhouse, and I came for an hour and a half. I think the bite might have left a scar though.
Okay.
So I'll give you the point because you got biting. But I kind of have to maybe take away the point because you got orgy instead of just 2 people.
Yeah,
So-
I'd say
Overall, you're a 1.5 out of to 1. So there we go. That was Are You a Sexpert?
excellent. Well, thank you for joining me once again on the
Oh
podcast.
no, it's my pleasure.
Um,
I love giving up my podcast to someone else and then making my own podcast separate.
it's great.
Also, check out the big one.
Yeah, last week's was great on Friday. It's all about Could We Survive a Desert Island. I highly recommend you check it out. We had great fun recording it.
And this week's coming out is a surprise. So
Wait and see. I don't know what it is.
no, I keep them secret from Dan.
Yeah, so...
You get his live reaction to my bollocks.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, here they are.
Oh, no, I don't want to say that. Anything you want to plug?
Just my Twitter at Frankenstein, our email at tfpod@gmail.com.
tfepod@gmail.com.
TFEpod. Yep. Okay. I haven't done plugs for a while. Also, this is your show. You should be doing
I'm
plugs.
asking what you want to plug.
My YouTube channel, Frankenstein Gaming. If you want to know how to spell Frankenstein, FRANKCOMSTEIN @ gaming or whatever.
I'm assuming you
know.
have to do that because I keep spelling your name wrong.
A lot of people spell my name wrong because Google autocorrects it. We need to force Google basically search my name a lot and force Google's search term to not autocorrect it back to Frankenstein because it bugs me and it annoys me. I can get whenever you type Frankenstein gaming, it does sort of work, but just typing Frankenstein doesn't work. So if people can search Frankenstein, that would be great. Force Google to acknowledge me as a human being.
There you go. Make Google
Great again.
Oh wait, yeah, and make Google great. That's that's a better joke. You can check me out on twitch.tv/Wello. It's about time.
Gaslight him into thinking it's his name.
I still not made a stream yet. I'm gonna do it when I get a new GPU because I don't think my GPU is good enough.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about streaming because I want to stream some PS5 stuff, but you know, I might stream Godfall because I have that and I want to play that.
I'll probably set up in December when I got my holiday.
Yeah, also, if you want to check out mine, it's Frankenstein at Twitch, but, you know, same thing. Basically, just type in Frankenstein and you'll find me. I'm great.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'll see you we'll see you next week, or see you on Friday, actually, for the big one.
See you on Friday.
See you on Friday. Peace out,
Bye.
y'all.